everyone, I hope you are well. I am back with another Livewire video. I want to talk about risk management. This is something I get asked a lot and I wanted to address it. So you can see here, I've got one of my Take Profit Trader Pro accounts. I've taken a bunch of payouts here. I am sitting at 154,051.50 balance. And you can see I've been trading this account for 54 days. That's how long I've kept this funded account. Well, I'm up to almost 50 funded accounts across so many prop firms, but I've got 5 Take Profit Trader accounts. They are still my favorite prop. I love daily payout props. I would say Trade Day is really growing on me too. I am funded with them as well, but I do keep my accounts for a long time. And how do I do that? Because I manage my risk properly. So you can see I only made $263 in profit on the prior day here, and that's typically what I target. I'm looking for small, consistent base hit, and you can see that got me all the way up to 154. Now I can tell you I've taken a bunch of payouts on this account already. Rinse and repeat. You know, I build it up a little bit, take a payout, build it up a little bit, take a payout, and I've been doing that on all 5. 3 of them I have gotten to payout. The other 2 I'm still working. So I'm not only on pro accounts, but they're already static. So I wanted to talk about how I do that. I trade micros. You can see I'm on MNQ. Now I will trade minis on evals to get them passed quicker, but once I get funded, I want to protect my capital. You know, as a trader, our number one job is to protect our capital. And this is something that people commonly ask in the Discord. I keep blowing up. I keep blowing up. I keep blowing up. And I was one of those traders too. I blew up every account I had. For like 2.5 years when I started out, I was constantly blowing up accounts. I blew up hundreds and hundreds of prop accounts. It wasn't until I switched to micros about 2.5 years in that I finally got my first payout. And ever since then, that is what I trade. So you can see I made $263 here on micros. Some days I get up to $600, but here's how I go into my trades here. I call this my 2 Livewire strategy, but I go in with a 200 tick stop, and I go in with target 1 at 80 ticks and target 2 at 400 ticks, and I move it to break even after I hit 40 ticks. Now this is just how I go into my trades. This is not necessarily how they set up. I am moving my stops and targets based on my key levels and where the pivots are. Say I entered here, where would I put my stop? Well, my stop goes in on a 200 tick stop. It's probably down here somewhere. But if you entered here, realistically, you'd want your stop here, but I don't like to get stopped out. And when you put your stop too tight, you're going to get stopped out more often than you're not. And death by 1,000 cuts, you're going to blow your accounts. If I entered here, my stop on 2 micros would be somewhere down here. And I know that sounds crazy, but what happens is I wait for my exit signal. And my exit signal is if we cross that live wire. If we close below that live wire, then I'm thinking, okay, I'm wrong. And I'm looking for a small pullback to get out with either a break even or a small loss. I'm going to keep that loss small. If we break below and we go back up, I'm most likely going to tighten my stop here. So even though I start with my stop way down here, that is not really where my stop is. My stop really is here, but I still want to give it some breathing room. And that's kind of how I trade. So let's say I entered here and my stop's way down here. When do I move my stop? You know, I wait for the first pullback, and when we break that pivot high, now I'm moving my stop here. I'm going to start moving it in, right? We go up, we pull back, and we break this pivot high. I am going to block in some profit at this point, and I'm going to be trailing my stop on every break of the pivot highs. I'm going to use the live wire here to kind of move my stop. We pull back, we went up, my stop's going to be down here. Now I might have gotten stopped out here, I might not have, but my stop stays here, and then we come down and we break the live wire and I get stopped out. And let's see what the profit was on that trade with just a micro. We got in here, got out here. That is $256 on one single micro. Now if that was 2, that would be 500. You certainly can add on to your trades. I do. If I enter 2 micros here, I might take off some profits here, move my stop tighter, and then I might add on right here and to trail it on up. And I'll add on sometimes up to 5 if we're in a good run. But even if my stop gets hit way down here, it's not going to be that much. Let's get our ruler out and check. See, we enter here and my stop is here. It's $355. If your stop is here, which is totally reasonable, $194. Personally, I'd like to keep my stop under $200 per trade for a 50K account. You want to have enough to lose 10 times in a row. This is only $141 stop. And what happens is I'm not worried about it. Like, I don't care if I get stopped out down here. You know, we get stopped out. We don't win every trade. That's just life. That's trading. I don't expect to win every trade. I certainly do my best to, mitigate my loss. Sometimes the market spikes, and it happened to me today, and it just comes down and it hits that stop. But I have plenty of time and room to recover. I can make that up on a single trade, but I didn't bust my account. I'd have to do that 10 times in a row to bust my account. Am I going to lose 10 times in a row? I am not. If you're losing 10 times in a row, something else is wrong. That's how I keep my account so long. Like I said, we like that big number, that exciting number on the minis. But unless you have a big account, $300,000 account with a $7,500 drawdown, you can't give your trades breathing room on a mini. That would be a huge stop. Let's calculate that same stop on a mini. All right, so let's get our ruler. Let's measure that. Now this is going to measure us on 1 NQ. Let's say we entered here, and let's say we just put our stop right here. We didn't even go too far. That's $2,000. We can't afford that. You're entering here and you're afraid to get stopped out because you're going to bust your account. Let's say you entered here, you're going to put your stop right there, so it's a $900 stop. I mean, these are large Renkos, but either you're putting your stop too tight and you're getting stopped out, or you're putting your stop too far and you're risking too much. But if you trade 1 or 2 micros, you can easily make, $200, $500, $600 a day. Manage your risk so you're not busting your accounts, and you'll have your accounts for 50 days. That's not to say I don't sometimes, for my take profit trader accounts, at least I would get a couple payouts and then I would hit it hard onto the minis to see how far I could push it. But whenever I trade minis, I always end up busting. Personally, I do. For me, the mental aspect of trading micros, those numbers aren't so big. I don't get nervous. I don't care if I get stopped out for $300. Not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. It's not making me upset. It's not causing me to exit winners too soon or move my stop too far away because I'm afraid of taking that loss, and I don't want to take that loss because maybe I only have a $2,000 drawdown. I can't afford a $900 loss. I might as well just give it the whole thing and see if I get lucky. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. So I recommend that you, at least starting out, stick to micros. You are going to make money. Don't stay in the market too long. Get your $250 to $500 and you're done. If you can consistently do that on a daily basis, you will absolutely get paid. That is what happened to me. That was the first time I got paid, and it stuck with me. I'm going to tell you, as an influencer in this space and just the type of content that I create, a lot of traders come to me when they are having issues with props, specifically about their payouts. I really have an opportunity because of that to see who really is getting paid, and those people often will talk to me about their strategies and show me how they're doing it. And I'm going to tell you, every single trader I know making big bucks is trading micros, guys. They are not trading minis. They are not busting up their accounts. So this is definitely trading advice. Size down, hold for longer profit, and relax. Let your trades work out. Don't stress yourself out with a tight stop on a big position. Don't blow your account on the first day, the 4th day. Now, I will say, I get it when we want to trade the minis to get our evals passed faster, but if you find you're blowing those evals over and over and you're not even getting them passed, I would say size down to micros, at least 5. Start holding your trades longer. Just trade in the direction you think the long range trend is going. Just hold on to them. Don't go in and out. That's expensive when you're trading micros. The fees are a little higher. Try to trade smaller and hold longer. And I think you'll find a lot of success doing that. It's okay if you don't enter at the right place. It's okay if you don't really know which way you're going. If you're on a small size, you can wait for a pullback and get out break even. You can just exit, take a small loss, go on to the next trade. You just have a lot of options. You have a lot more time to think about it. You're not nervous. And that is my advice on how to get to payout. So I hope this was helpful. I wanted to share that. I think this is the most common thing people ask about. This is kind of how I manage risk management. And like you see here, 54 days is a long time for a prop account. And I have slowly been building up to 50. I have a lot of long-term prop accounts, but I've also busted a lot of evaluations along the way because I also traded minis. So minis are only for evals if you can successfully pass them. If you are finding yourself busting a lot of them, go to micros. Once you are funded, 1 to 2 micros is all you need to make money. Consistent base hits gets you to payday, guys. All right, that's all for this video. Have a great one. Bye.